Hello everyone, welcome to the online lecture series on Verilog HDL. So in the previous session, we had discussed on evolution of CAD and then emergence of HDLs. So in this particular session, we shall look into a typical design flow of HDLs. So you might be thinking what is this typical design flow? So a typical design flow is nothing but, let me take, I am a customer and I need a product to be developed according to my specifications. So what I will be doing is that I'll be looking into the market, which company develops such type of products, where it can develop such type of products. So I'll go to that particular company and then I will tell my specifications. Okay, these are my specifications. So you please develop a product according to these specifications. So it has to do this work and then this work and then it has to wind up. So in order to do this product, so in order to come up with a product which meets my requirement, so what are the steps the company will take care? So what are the things they will be taking care of? So all those things, in order to bring the final product, what are those steps, that is being explained from this particular typical design flow. So the learning outcomes from this particular session are, at the end of the session, a student will be able to demonstrate the typical design flow of HDLs. Moving on to this thing, so directly jumping on to the what is the product, what is the design flow. So let us consider an example over here. So for this particular example, we have taken a traffic light controller, a simple traffic light controller. So as you can see, there are 4 different roads which are going to meet at this particular junction, right? So we need to deploy a traffic light controller signal at this particular junction so that we can control the whole traffic which is being developed at this particular junction is minimized. So this is the specification what is required, right? So the specification is nothing but what actually is needed. So how actually it has to work. So those are the things which are specified by the customer to a company. So what we can call it as, so this is the first step, right? So giving the specification in order to develop a product, that is the first step. So what we call it as what? It all starts with what? Design specification. Depending on the specification, we are going to develop a product. So the specification requirement is the first step. Once you got the specification, at that time, what we need to do is we need to derive a behavioral description. So what do you mean by this behavioral description? So behavioral description in the sense, as you can see here, this is behavioral. Okay, it is almost similar to what the English word behavior. We need to define a behavior, how actually it should work. See, for this particular traffic light controller signal, what is its behavior? So its behavior is nothing but, so totally I'm having what? Totally I'm having 4 different junctions. So I need to 4 different roads. So I need to control the traffic. So I need to stop once this particular junction, once if this particular road is kept as green, I need to make sure that all these 3 roads are being blocked with the red signal. Okay, so this is one of the behavior. What is that behavior? Once one road is open, the other 3 roads should be closed, or the other 3 roads should be stopped. Okay, that means once the green light is at one particular road, then the rest other 3 roads red light should be made on. Okay, and this is one of the scenario, this is one of the behavior of this particular example. Afterwards, if this road is kept green, and then I need to make sure that again this has to be made red. Once this has been made red, which is the next road I should make it as green. So this is one of the second behavior, right? So it has to move on like a cycle, right? All the roads should be given green signal. Okay, this is also one of the requirement. And the other requirement is till how much time we should make a green for one particular road. Whether you want to make it as green for 10 seconds, or whether you want to make green it for 15 seconds or 20 seconds, all these behaviors what that will be described in this behavioral description. Once the behavioral description is ready, then we need to go for what? RTL description. So once you know the behavior of the particular design, what you are going to do, based on that behavior you are going to define what are its inputs, what are its outputs. So depending on the input, so if this is the input, what actually, when I get this particular input, what actually I should do, and where actually it should reflect in terms of output, right? So all these things will be taken care in terms of what? RTL description. That is going to be your HDL. So in HDLs, what actually we are doing, we are taking all those inputs and how actually the output behaves, that we are going to write in terms of Verilog HDL or VHDL. Okay, any two language, any either of one you can write. Either you can go for Verilog HDL or we can go for VHDL. So once this thing is ready as a designer, so most of this part, RTL description part, is taken care by designers. Okay, so once the RTL description is ready, a designer has to check whether the functionality of that particular design what he has written, whether it is going to work properly or not. Okay, once he has, if he finds out any bug or if he finds out any error in that particular design, then what he should do, he should rectify that error in the same HDL itself. So that is why this particular arrow mark has been given. So if you found any error, then you come back to the same HDL, you modify your HDL unless and until you don't get any errors from this particular design. So a designer, what he will do, he is going to design all the things. So he is going to write down the HDL and then he is going to test the functionality by himself and make sure that the design is bug free or error free. Once this particular is error free, we have separate team called verification engineers. Okay, so these verification engineers, what they are going to do, they are going to test the whole design, and then what they are going to do, they are going to test the functionality and then they are going to try out the errors. Okay, so why actually whole part is not being done over here? If you are having a 2-bit, okay, if you are let us take an adder or let us take an AND gate. So a 2-bit 2 input AND gate is what, where basically we will be having 2 inputs. For that 2 inputs, the maximum combination what I can get is 2 raised to 2, that is going to be 4. So 4 different combinations. So those 4 different combinations are what? It will be 0 0, 0 1, 1 0 and then 1 1. So I need to test, in order to test the complete functionality of that particular AND gate, so I need to test 4 different combinations, and if all these 4 different combinations are verified, then I can tell that this particular AND gate is working properly and there are no errors from this particular design. Okay, so why actually we need extra engineers in order to test the device? If you are having only a 2-bit, then we need 4 different combinations, and if your input bit itself is somewhere around 2 raised to 10, then the if you are having somewhere around 10-bit, then it is going to lead us to what? It is going to lead us to 2 raised to 10. So 2 raised to 10 in the sense 1000 number of different types of combinations. And as the number of bits are going to increase, then we need to verify almost all the different combinations which are available from that particular design. Okay, so in order to do that, that is the reason why we will be having a separate set of engineers where they will be testing with all different combinations for that particular design. So in order to make sure that the RTL or the HDL which has been developed is bug free. If they find out any error from this particular while testing the design, because these test engineers, they won't be knowing about how actually this has been developed. They'll be knowing only the thing which has come. They'll be knowing only, they'll be giving the inputs and they'll be verifying the outputs, whether the outputs are proper or not. They don't know what is being written or what is being how actually it has been developed over here at this particular stage. So if they find out any error, so what actually they will do, for what combination of input and for what combination of input, what is the error what they have faced, that they are going to send it to where? They are going to send it to the designers. So based on the report which is being generated by these test engineers, again what the designer will do, he will modify his design. So he will modify his HDL and make sure that that error which is being developed at this stage is removed. So once all this thing is free, then what we need to do is that we need to synthesize this particular design. So how actually synthesis is being done over here is that synthesis is nothing but what? Synthesis is nothing but it is a process where your HDL is going to convert into actual hardware circuitry. Okay, so hardware circuitry in the sense what? It is going to be in terms of gates, your multiplexers and your flip-flops and all those things. So that is going to be taken care at this particular level. So for this logical synthesis, we are having a separate tool in our EDAs. Okay, so this synthesizer will take care that the hardware which is being, the program which is being developed at HDLs will be converted back to what? It will be converted back to your normal gates and then flip-flops and then multiplexers. So once your logical synthesis is done, we need to generate what? We need to generate a gate level netlist. A gate level netlist is nothing but depending on the gates which have been produced at the synthesis level, then we need to define the gate level netlist. Okay, so now the whole part what we are having over here, from the design specification till the gate level netlist, what we are going to do is that this is nothing but this is your front end design. Okay, so once your front end design is being done, so what actually we are doing is that we need to go for back end. So what is the process which are going to take care at the back end? See, here only the description is being made and then we have at the final level we have come up with the circuit. But in real time scenario, you need a device which need to be produced based on the circuit which has been developed at gate level netlist. We need to dump into that particular design. So how actually is being done? It all starts with what? It all starts with logical verification. So once the circuit is being developed at gate level netlist, again I need to verify whether it is going to work properly or not. Okay, and if it fails, then again what we are going to do, we are going to change back to HDL. Again the error report is being sent to the designer and the designer will take care that he'll be modifying his HDL so that again our design is going to be bug free. Once your logical verification is 100% complete and we don't have any errors from that particular verification, then what we are going to do, we are going to do floor planning. So in floor planning actually what is being done is that, so we'll be having different types of combinations, like we'll be having different types of AND gates, OR gates, and we'll be having flip-flops and then multiplexers and all these things. But if you go for automatic place and route, so what is going to happen is that the whole placing and then routing is being taken care by EDA tool itself. Okay, so when the whole placing and routing is taken care by that particular tool, there are possibilities that it might place somewhere or somewhere or other way. Okay, so manual placing and then routing is being done so that the data which is coming to that particular logic is reaching before the clock. So these are a little bit floor planning, and then these are some high-end concepts where what actually happens is that some clock slacks and all those things will come in picture. Okay, so as a design we should not have negative slack, we should have a positive slack in terms of clock, and that is the why we need to go for manual place and route. Okay, so once placing and routing is being done, we are going to check the timing verification. So in placing and routing itself, we are going to check the timing verification, whether it reaches, whether the timing is being perfect or not, that is being tested over here. Even the EDA tools, after the place and route, the EDA tools are going to generate the timing report. Based on the timing report, we can analyze that where actually at what particular data path actually the timing is being delayed or whether it is reaching early. So that can be taken care from this particular timing analysis. Once the timing analysis is being done, we need to come up with a physical layout. So here till here what actually we are doing till here is what till here we can say that we are dealing in terms of gates and then flip-flops. But when it comes to silicon, when it comes to wafer, in wafer we will be talking in terms of transistors. So in order to make the whole design which is being placed and routed and all those things, that will be converted to what? That will be converted in terms of transistors. Here we will be talking in terms of, when it comes to physical layout, we will be talking in terms of what? We will be talking in terms of transistor level. Once the transistor level is ready, we need to rig up the whole transistor level circuit. Okay, and again we need to verify. Once the layout is being prepared, we need to verify the layout, whether the functionality has not changed or not. The functionality should be same which is being developed at this particular level, and the functionality should not change even after the verification of layout. So again here functionality is being checked, and then there are some other issues also. We will be checking for design rule check errors, and then we will be comparing it with our schematic which is being developed at this physical layout. So all those being taken care at this layout verification. Once the layout verification fails, okay, again what we are going to do, we will be going back the report which is being generated at the layout verification will be sent back to place and route. Again they are going to rectify. Still the problem persists, then it is problem with the HDL. Okay, so once your layout verification is being done correctly, then what we are going to do, we will be going for what? We will be going for implementation. Here in implementation is nothing but once the whole design is being ready, then we are going to convert that file in terms of technology file, and then that technology file we will be sending it to where? We will be sending it to the fabrication process. Okay, here the technology file might be GPDK 180 or GPDK 90. So these are the technology files, whether you want the whole design to be implemented in terms of 180 nanometer technology or whether you want it to be 45 nanometer technology, all those things will be taken care. Based on that we are going to implement. Here in implementation part, based on the technology file, what we are going to do, based on that we are going to generate a GDS2 file. This GDS2 file will be sent to fabrication process. In fabrication process, the GDS2 file will be input for the fabrication machine. So based on the technology, and based on the layout which is being developed at this physical layout, based on that it is going to fabricate, and then the final chip will be produced. So whole process in order to develop where that particular chip is going to behave like what it is going to behave, it is going to control your traffic light. So in order to develop a traffic light, as an example we have taken a traffic light controller. So as on that we need all these steps need to be followed in order to what, in order to come up with the final product from this particular implementation part. So whole process, what we can call it as, we will call it as typical design flow, or we will be calling it as a VLSI design flow, or in simple words we call it as what, we will call it as design flow. So this is all regarding the design flow. In the next session we shall continue with the importance of HDLs, why HDLs are very much important, and what are the current trends which are going in terms of HDLs, that we are going to see in the next session. Thank you.